Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're here to take those big, tricky challenges and, well, break them down into something you can actually use. And today, we're tackling something huge, a frustration, really, that millions of people learning English feel every day. You know who you are. Maybe you're spending like an hour every night studying. You've got the grammar books, the vocabulary lists, all of it. But then that moment comes. You need to actually speak English, have a real conversation, and nothing. Your brain just freezes up. The words just won't come out smoothly. It's like you know the language in your head, but you can't seem to use it. If that sounds familiar, well, you're definitely not alone. And we're talking directly to you today. It's more than just, inefficient. It's exhausting mentally. So our mission, our deep dive for today, is to look at some really powerful ideas, 5 simple strategies, actually. Strategies designed specifically to bridge that gap, to turn that quiet, passive knowledge into, well, an active speaking skill you can actually use.
Yeah, and that difference between knowledge and skill, that's absolutely crucial. It's sort of the foundation for everything we're going to talk about. We're not just collecting facts about English today. We're looking at how to build a system, something that actually works when you need it. And this system is built on a few key things. Smart repetition, getting the right kind of input that sounds like real life, and methods that kind of force your brain to automate the skill, moving it away from conscious effort more towards like muscle memory.
Okay, muscle memory for speaking. I like that. Let's unpack this then. If we're building a skill, like you said, not just knowledge, where do we even begin? What's the absolute first step according to the experts we looked at?
Well, the first step, and honestly the one that pretty much everyone agrees is the most important, it's tip number 1: you must listen more.
Listen more. Okay, that feels a little backward, maybe. If the goal is speaking, why start with listening? I mean, wouldn't you just jump into trying to talk? I
Yeah.
think a lot of learners feel that pressure, practice speaking.
Right, and I get why they feel that way. It's kind of how we're taught in school, isn't it? Output, output, output. Tests on speaking, writing. But for really acquiring a language, getting fluent, you almost have to rewind. Go back to how humans learn language naturally. Think about a baby.
Okay.
They don't just start talking, do they? They spend, what, maybe the first year? 2 years even.
Yeah, long time just listening.
Exactly. They're in what some people call a silent period. They're just soaking it all in, listening constantly, every day. They're figuring out the sounds, the rhythm, the melody of the language, the patterns, long before they really start producing proper words.
So it's like the brain is building this huge library of sounds, this
Yeah.
database, before it's ever asked to actually say something using those sounds.
Yeah.
And if we, as adults, try to skip that massive input phase.
You're asking your brain to do the impossible, really, to produce something without the reference material. If you only know how a word looks written down, you don't actually know how it sounds in a fast sentence, or where the stress goes naturally, or the right intonation. So your speaking ends up sounding, well, flat or unnatural. And you're constantly fighting with pronunciation because those brain pathways for sound haven't been laid down properly through listening.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's a strong case for listening before you even worry too much about reading, which is
Mm.
something our sources highlighted too.
Mhm.
So the practical advice here is, would just listen.
Listen every single day. Start with, say, 20 minutes. That's the minimum commitment.
20 minutes daily.
Yeah.
Okay, podcasts, videos, songs, whatever.
Yeah, the key is the sound. Get the sound of English into your ears
Yeah.
consistently.
Right, consistency. That 20 minutes every day after day, it starts to change how your brain even hears the language. It stops being just noise.
Exactly. It becomes patterns you recognize.
Okay, so tip 1 is about quantity, that daily 20 minutes.
Mhm.
But then there's tip 5, which adds another layer, doesn't it? Tip 5 says, listen to real English. Move beyond the textbook.
Mm-hmm.
Now, textbooks have their place, I guess, for structure.
Sure, for the basics.
Hmm.
But the danger, if you only listen to textbook audio,
What's the danger? They sound so clear.
that's the problem. They're too clear,
Yep.
too perfect. They're kind of sterilized English. They slow down, they pronounce every single syllable perfectly. They don't use slang. They don't have filler words like or
Which is completely unlike real conversation.
Exactly.
Right.
Real English is faster. People connect words. They drop sounds, gonna instead of going to.
Right, reductions in linking.
Yeah, elision, all that stuff. If your ear is only trained on that slow, perfect textbook English, when you hear a real person talking or watch a movie,
You panic because it sounds like a different language.
pretty much you can't keep up. You're trying to translate this real sound back into the textbook version in your head, and poof, conversation breakdown.
So the strategy isn't just listen more, it's listen more to authentic stuff.
Yes. Movies, news broadcasts, find YouTubers you like who just talk naturally, fast.
Okay, but let's talk about the fear factor there. Because that's real. You, the listener, you turn on a movie or maybe a fast-talking YouTuber, and you understand maybe 10%, 20% if you're lucky.
Mm-hmm.
The urge is just to switch it off, to think, nope, too hard, I'm not ready. How do you get past that wall?
You have to expect it. Know that feeling of not understanding everything is actually normal. It's even good.
Good. How is not understanding good?
Because it means you're challenging your ear. You're exposing it to the real complexity. That's how it learns and adapts. Like training a muscle with heavier weights. The key advice is don't stop. Keep that input coming. Be consistent.
And there's a payoff timeline, right?
Yeah, the sources are actually really encouraging about this. Stick with that 20 minutes of real English daily. After just 1 week, you'll notice you understand it maybe just a little more, but it's noticeable. Enough to keep you going.
Okay, little boost.
And then, the bigger milestone. After about a month of that consistent, real-world listening, you'll likely be surprised. You'll understand much more. Your ear adapts faster than you think, but you have to give it that challenging input regularly.
So tips 1 and 5 really work together. It's not just volume, it's volume plus authenticity.
Exactly. You're priming the pump, acoustically speaking, getting the ear ready for what it's really going to hear.
It all starts with the ear, not the mouth.
Interesting. Okay, so we've laid the groundwork with input. Lots of authentic listening. Now we need to actually start making sounds, producing the language. You mentioned muscle memory earlier, treating speaking not just as thinking, but as a physical act. Which brings us neatly to tip 2, repeat and change.
Yes, absolutely. Think about it physically. Your mouth, your tongue, your throat. These have to move in very specific, coordinated ways to make English sounds. When you speak your native language, those movements for common phrases are totally automatic, right? You don't even think about them.
Zero thought. Pure muscle memory. But in English, especially for beginners, every sound, every transition between sounds, it's like a new calculation your brain has to make. Slowly, consciously.
No, it's blunky.
Exactly. This repeat and change technique is designed specifically to bypass that slow calculation. It's about forcing the skill away from that conscious grammar construction and turning it into a fast, automatic, physical habit.
Okay, so how does it work? It sounds simple, maybe deceptively simple.
The simplicity is the key. That's what makes it doable every day. It's basically a 3-step loop.
Okay, step 1.
Listen to a short, simple English sentence. The example used is a good one. I love coffee.
Okay, got it. I love coffee.
Step 2. Immediately, and the immediate part is crucial. Repeat it out loud. Just copy the sound.
Shadowing it.
Exactly. Don't pause. Don't analyze the grammar. Just mimic the sounds, the rhythm, the pronunciation you just heard.
Okay, I love coffee. Mimics.
Perfect. Now, step 3 is where the magic happens. You change only one word.
Just one.
Just one. So you go from I love coffee immediately to say I love tea.
Okay. I love tea.
Then maybe I love music.
I love music.
I love pizza.
I love pizza.
The idea is to say that same basic sentence structure 5 times, just swapping out that one noun, that object.
Why is changing only one word so important? Why not try changing more?
Because changing just one thing drastically lowers the mental effort, the cognitive load. The main structure, I love, or maybe she wants a guy, stays the same. Your mouth practices that core structure over and over, making it automatic. Meanwhile, your brain only has to juggle swapping out that single variable word. It's like drilling a specific movement in sports until it's second nature. You're cementing the structure. It's the quickest path to making simple sentences feel automatic.
That makes total sense if you tried to change the subject and the verb and the object all at once.
Your brain would just freeze up again, or default back to slowly building the sentence piece by piece, checking the grammar rules.
Which defeats the purpose of building speed and automaticity.
Precisely. By isolating that one changing word, you drill the physical mechanics of the rest of the sentence until it's instant.
Okay, I love coffee is a great starting point for beginners. But how do you know when to move on? How do you make the sentences more complex using this technique?
Great question. It's like leveling up in anything. You move on when the current level feels easy, effortless, requires almost zero conscious thought. So once I love X just rolls off your tongue instantly, maybe you move to something slightly harder, like I need to buy a new X. Repeat that 5 times. I need to buy a new phone. I need to buy a new book. I need to buy a new chair.
Okay. Or changing adjectives.
Yeah, the tall building, then the red building, the old building, the new building. You keep the core sentence frame constant, change one element 5 times.
It's surprisingly flexible, actually.
Very. And you can do it anywhere, in the car, cooking dinner, walking.
And the recommendation is just 10 minutes of this specific exercise every day. That seems short, but powerful.
Very powerful because of the daily consistency. Again, we're building muscle memory, creating and strengthening pathways in the brain. Daily short practice keeps those pathways active. If you only do it once a week for an hour.
You spend the first 20 minutes just remembering how to do it again.
Pretty much. The pathway starts to fade. 10 minutes daily keeps it strong, constantly reinforcing that motor control for speaking. It's super efficient.
Okay, we've got input covered, we've got the physical practice. Now we move into making it all smoother, more efficient. And this next one, tip 3, this feels like where it gets really interesting. It challenges how most people learn vocabulary. The tip is learn phrases, not isolated words. Learn collocations.
This is huge, absolutely huge for fluency.
Because the common way, the way I learned languages in school, was memorizing lists of single words, right? Make, do, have, go.
Yep, dictionary definition, maybe one example sentence if you're lucky.
But then you try to actually use them in a conversation, and you hit that classic problem. Is it make homework or do homework? Make a mistake or do a mistake?
And that pause, that hesitation, while your brain tries to figure out the rule or remember the correct pairing, that is what kills fluency.
Right. It breaks the flow completely.
Exactly. Because fluent speakers, native speakers, they don't operate word by painful word like that. They access language in chunks, pre-assembled phrases, collocations.
So learning just the word make is kind of useless on its own.
Not useless, but incomplete. Dangerously incomplete for speaking. The word itself doesn't tell you which other words it likes to hang out with, and English is full of these partnerships, these word friends where certain words just go together and others don't.
Like they're picky about their friends.
Very picky. And if you only know the individual word, you're basically guessing at the partnership every time, which slows you down and, often leads to unnatural sounding sentences or even misunderstandings.
I love that analogy from the source, words are friends. Learn the whole group, the clique, not just the individual.
When you learn the group, the phrase, you learn the pattern that's already accepted, already natural. You're grabbing a ready-made unit off the shelf, not trying to build it from scratch every single time.
Okay, let's nail this down with that classic do versus make example, because that trips up so many learners.
It really does.
Mm.
So let's look at make. Generally, make is about creating something, producing something, constructing something, causing a result. So instead of just the word make, you need to learn the phrases. Make a decision. You're creating a choice.
Right.
Make a mistake. You produce an error.
Okay.
Make a phone call. You initiate or create the call.
Makes sense.
Make an effort. You produce the energy. Make a change. You create a shift. See the pattern. Creation, production.
Yeah, okay. That creation idea helps. Now, what about do?
Do is generally more about performing an action, completing a task, fulfilling a duty, often things that already exist in some form, so you learn. Do homework. It's a task you perform.
Okay.
Do the dishes, a chore you carry out.
Right.
Do your best. Performing to your top ability. Do research. Performing the act of studying. Do business. Performing commercial tasks.
Performance, action.
Got it.
The difference is crystal clear when you see the phrases. But if you're trying to figure out that creation versus performance distinction while you're trying to speak.
Forget it. You're going to freeze or make a mistake.
Exactly. But if you've already memorized, do homework as one single chunk.
It's just there, ready to go. No thinking required.
That's the fluency benefit right there. Linguists call it chunking. Your brain grabs the whole chunk, make a mistake, instead of grabbing make, then searching for a, then searching for mistake, and trying to glue them together. It drastically reduces the mental work, cuts out the hesitation, and bonus, makes you sound much more natural, more like a native speaker.
Okay, this is obviously crucial. But practically speaking, for the listener, when they learn a new word, say from their listening practice, how do they find these friends, these collocations? They can't just guess. No, guessing is inefficient. This requires a slight shift in how you use your learning tools. Stop just looking at the single word definition in a basic dictionary. You need to look for example sentences, lots of them. Better yet, use a good learner's dictionary. They often list common collocations. Or even just Google the word and look at how it's used in real sentences online. There are collocation dictionaries too.
So the new rule is, for every new word you learn, find and learn 3 phrases that use it.
That should be the minimum goal, yes. If you do that consistently, you're not just learning words anymore. You're learning how the language actually works in conversation. You're building a library of usable chunks.
Right, we've got the input strategy, the muscle memory drill, the efficiency hack with phrases. We've built this whole system. But it's all just preparation, isn't it, for the main event? Which brings us to tip 4, the moment of truth. You must practice with people.
This is it, the deep end. You have to get in the water.
You used the analogy earlier. You can't learn football just by reading the rule book. You have to get on the field.
Exactly. Speaking is a performance skill. You have to perform it with other performers. All the listening, all the repeating, all the phrase learning, it prepares you. But practicing with real people is where you actually test it under pressure.
And it's not just about testing, is it? It's about feedback.
Crucial feedback. When you talk to someone, you instantly find out what works and what doesn't. You encounter accents you haven't heard, questions you didn't expect, the need to respond quickly. It forces your brain to access everything you've learned fast. It's where the gaps in your knowledge or your automaticity become really obvious. That's where the real learning happens, identifying those gaps.
Okay, but let's be honest. This is the scary part. The source material acknowledges this too. Practicing with people. Terrifying for many learners.
Oh, absolutely. The fear of making mistakes, of sounding stupid, of freezing up, it's intense. That anxiety is real.
So how do we help people push past that fear? What are the practical steps?
First, and we really need to hammer this home, mistakes are not just okay, they are necessary. They are essential.
Not failures, but data.
Exactly. A mistake isn't a sign you're bad at English. It's a signpost showing you precisely what you need to work on next. If you keep mixing up make and do in conversations, great. Now you know exactly what phrase chunks to drill using the repeat and change method next week. Mistakes guide your practice.
Okay, reframing mistakes helps. What about in the moment? When you're talking and you panic, you freeze.
Have some escape hatches ready. Simple phrases you memorize for those moments. Don't just go silent. Things like, sorry, could you say that again? Or could you speak a little slower, please? Or even just, let me think. Or, sorry, what does that word mean?
Communication recovery phrases.
Exactly. They buy you time, they reduce the panic, and they keep the conversation moving, even if imperfectly. It allows you to stay in the game, keep practicing instead of just giving up.
That's really practical. Gives the learner a bit of control back. Now, finding people to practice with. The sources mention online partners, classes, maybe local speakers. For that terrified beginner, what's the starting point? Should they aim for like a 30-minute conversation right away?
No, definitely not. That's setting yourself up for failure and more anxiety. Think scalability, like lifting weights. You don't start with the heaviest weight in the gym.
You start small, really small.
Yes. Aim for just 5 minutes of speaking practice. Maybe even less at the very beginning. Then next week, aim for 7 minutes, then 10, then 15. The goal is just a little more each week. Consistent, incremental steps. That builds confidence without overwhelming you. It keeps the fear manageable.
Small steps, consistently.
Yeah.
That seems to be a running theme here.
It is, and it connects directly back to that core idea we started with. Speaking English is a skill, not just knowledge.
Right. Let's spend a moment on that because it really changes everything.
If it's just knowledge, you treat it like history. Memorize dates, facts, grammar rules, done.
But if it's a skill,
You treat it like learning to drive or play guitar or swim. You have to do it. Repeatedly, physically.
and you expect to be bad at first, awkward, clumsy.
Of course. That's how skill acquisition works. You start slow, you make mistakes, you focus intensely. Then, through that consistent practice, the listening, the repeating, the phrase work, the actual conversations, you gradually get smoother, faster, more automatic. But if you start practicing regularly...
To get rusty, or worse, your bad habits just get stuck.
Exactly. These 5 tips are all designed to push you into action, to move from passively knowing about English to actively doing English. And that's why the consistency is more important than intensity. The source says it clearly. Small practice every day is better than big practice once a week.
So even that 10 minutes of repeat and change or 5 minutes of trying to talk, if you do it daily, it's more valuable than struggling for 2 hours just on Saturday.
Way more valuable for building those automatic pathways in muscle memory. Absolutely.
Okay, so you stick with it, small steps every day. What about the emotional journey? When does it start to feel less terrifying and more, well, confident?
There's a timeline, and it's pretty reliable if you put in the work. First few weeks, even the first month, yeah, expect to be nervous, that's normal, accept it. But the promise is, after about 1 month of consistent daily practice hitting these different tips, you will notice it feels easier, genuinely less stressful.
Okay. 1 month for easier. That's motivating.
Then comes the bigger shift, around the 3-month mark. If you've kept up that daily focused practice, that's often when real confidence starts to kick in. You start to feel like, hey, I can actually do this. I can have conversations. It's not magic. It's the result of the consistent work.
The formula works if you follow it.
Exactly. Stick with this system. Listen loads, repeat and change, learn phrases, practice even when scared, focus on real English, do it consistently. And the results are pretty clear. Better in a month, much better in 3 months.
And in 6 months.
You'll probably look back and be amazed at how far you've come. Truly surprised by your own fluency. Hashtag tag outro.
Wow. Okay, that is a really clear, actionable blueprint. Let's just quickly recap those 5 core strategies we've unpacked today. The keys to turning that knowledge into actual speaking skill. Number 1, listen more. That's your foundation. Aim for at least 20 minutes every single day. Focus on the sound.
Get that input.
Number 2, repeat and change. That's your mouth workout. 10 minutes daily. Repeat sentences. Change just one word. Build that automaticity.
Train the muscles.
Number 3, learn phrases, not isolated words. Words have friends. Learn the groups, the collocations. Aim for 3 phrases for every new word. Speak in chunks.
Speak smarter, not harder.
Number 4, practice with people. You got to do it. It's scary, but essential. Start small. Embrace mistakes. Use those recovery phrases. Build up slowly.
Get in the game.
Number 5, listen to real English. Ditch the perfect textbook audio sometimes. Train your ear on the speed, the slang, the reality of movies, and real conversations.
Prepare for reality.
Okay, 5 clear steps.
But just knowing the steps isn't enough, right? If you're listening now, the time for just passively taking this in is over. We need action, like today.
Right now, what can someone do literally today?
3 simple things before your head hits the pillow tonight. 1, find 20 minutes. Listen to some real English. A podcast you like, a YouTube video, anything authentic, just do it.
Okay, 20 minutes listening. Check.
2, do the repeat and change exercise. Pick one simple sentence. Say it 5 times, changing one word. Just 5 minutes, maybe 10. Drill it.
Repeat and change. Check.
3, find one English-speaking YouTuber or maybe a news site or something that seems interesting, someone who speaks naturally. Watch one video or listen to one short clip. Start that high-quality immersion habit now.
Subscribe, maybe.
Mm.
Okay, 3 actions today. Listen, repeat, find real content. Love it. And building on that, here's our final challenge for you for this week. A focused test of commitment. Can you find just 5 minutes, only 5, every single day this week, dedicated purely to active speaking? That could be doing the repeat and change drill out loud. It could be reading a short text out loud. Recording yourself talking about your day for a minute. Or, if you have someone actually talking to them, just 5 minutes of your mouth moving, making English sounds. Every day this week. Can you do it?
And one final thought to leave you with, building on that skill versus knowledge idea one last time. If speaking really is a physical skill, like playing tennis or driving, think about this. What specific part of that skill is your weakest link right now?
What do you mean?
Is it the physical part? Like your mouth literally can't form the sounds quickly or smoothly enough? That's the motor skill. Or is it memory recall? You know the phrase, but there's that agonizing delay trying to pull it out. That's the collocation access speed. Or maybe it's your ear. You just can't process the fast, connected speech of native speakers quickly enough. That's the input processing.
Identifying your personal bottleneck.
Exactly. Where is the system breaking down for you? Because if you can identify that specific weakness, mouth speed, phrase recall, or listening comprehension, and focus your practice intensely right there, That's how you get the fastest results. That's how you break through your current plateau.
That's a powerful way to focus your effort. Really makes you think. Thank you for diving deep with us on this. It feels incredibly practical. So remember those 5 tips. Remember the action plan for today. And think about that 5-minute daily challenge. The key is starting. Start today. Seriously, not tomorrow. Good luck with it and keep practicing.